What's happening, people? Welcome back to another Sorare scouting video on the channel today. Today we are looking at the top 10 young players that you need to buy on Sorare before they explode. Let's go. Okay, so how we're going to do this video today is we're going to start with the cheapest valued Sorare card in the top 10, and then we're going to go up in Sorare value. And of course, this is currently of time of recording. Prices can change and things like that. So you might see, for example, Oscar Perea is first, and maybe he's more expensive now when you look at him on Sorare. But as of recording, this is the order of their price. And I will say that some of them have jumped already in price over the weekend, which is why I want to get this video out as soon as possible, because I want you to, maybe some of these players might even do, follow the same trend. I am going to obviously talk about that when we get onto them, but yeah. Kicking things off today, we have Oscar Perea, who is actually quite well known in sort of the young sort of South American sort of up and coming, potential wonder kids or people that could go on to do great stuff. And of course, he is a Strasbourg player. However, he is on loan currently, and you can see here he's just started to get regular game time at AVS, which is his club in Portugal, and they aren't the most desirable club. They're not the best. However, it does mean that he's probably going to get a lot of minutes, and hopefully he develops into the talent that he is looking like he might have the potential to be. And he's super cheap on Sorare right now, about £1. I literally just bought one for I think £1.75, just on the off chance that he does something crazy. But yeah, Oscar is our first name. So as I said with Oscar Perea at the start there, I actually did track their prices before the game week and now after the game week, so I can give you guys a rough idea of if their prices have gone up or down. And Filip Bundgaard is number 9 on our top 10 list here today, and his price has actually sort of stayed the same. So he is not had a crazy weekend. You can see here he scored 40, but he's a young midfielder who is Danish and plays for Brøndby. Of course, Brøndby a pretty decent team in their league, and you can see here he sort of started to come into his own a little bit. Of course, these scores here are all off the bench, but it does look like he's getting a lot more game time this season, and potentially someone that could skyrocket if he does start to get more of these 90s and 60 scores in him rather than the 40s, as you can see here. And currently right now only £2 on Sorare, so I think for the price, Filip could be a potential banger. In at number 8 on our list is Miguel Freckleton, and he is a young English developing talent at St Mirren in the Scottish League. And you can see here he has literally only ever had 4 scores, and one of them being a 100 bomb. I think this guy is going under the radar because he's not been on Sorare before, as you can see, and potentially could be one that is a banger, considering he's had 2 decent games here. The other 2 maybe not so much, but considering his price, I just picked one up for £3. I thought he could be quite worth the risk as such, or potentially someone that is going under the radar because he's not been on Sorare too long. So yeah, Miguel definitely one to keep your eyes out on. Up next is Marton Dardai, and he is a young Hungarian defender who plays for Hertha, and to be honest, Hertha have not had the best start to the season. However, you can see from his scores, he's still scoring pretty well. So if Hertha managed to turn it around, this guy could potentially be a big problem in contender. And you can see, even in their most recent game, they lost 2-0. He still scored 53. So I feel like Marton Dardai is a bit of a sleeper pick. He is 23, so he's still, he's coming up to his prime years. He's not quite as young as some of the players on the list here today. But you can see, as cheap as £3.40 for potentially someone that could be scoring very, very well as long as their team turns it around. If you are new to Sorare and you want to support a small creator in myself, then I would really appreciate if you use my link in the description down below to sign up, and of course you'll receive all the best referral/welcome bonuses using the link down below in the description. Thank you. Now, before we go into number 5 for the video today, I do want to say I have created a watch list for all of these players in the video here today, and I am actually just going to share it or make it public for you guys. I'm going to probably put a link in the description down below so you guys can come on here and have a look to see at their prices, see if they update, see if they do actually explode, and you can see obviously when I'm recording this all of their prices, but if you actually click on the link in the description down below, you can actually see for yourself on Sorare their current prices. And moving on to player number 5 is Chico Lamba. Now this guy I don't know too much about, however I'm just looking purely at Sorare scores, and you can see here he is looking pretty good, and even some scores in here for France, of course. I believe this to be sorry, not France, Portugal, my bad. I obviously believe this to be the youth teams, but still scoring absolutely fantastic. And Saint Etienne are a pretty decent side as well. And you can see, like, if you just only looked at the scores, you would assume this card is probably worth £8, £9, maybe £10 or so, but you can see he's only £5 at the moment, so definitely had to be one that I include in this video. I felt like it was kind of the perfect video for Lambert to be included in. Up next is Aaron Zehnter for Wolfsburg, and you can tell from his scores he is an absolutely fantastic card. 20 years old, playing for Wolfsburg. Now, the only downside to him is he has just picked up an injury. However, currently right now he's about £5 on Sorare, so I believe it to be quite a good time to buy, especially if you go based on his current or his sales in the last week. Looks to be about, you know, £7 to £5, as you can see on the graph there. So at the moment he's probably, you know, where he should be in terms of prices, considering he's injured. However, if he does come, you know, announced to be fit and playing, you can see with scores like this, he's not going to stay £5 for very long. So yeah, Aaron Zehnter is the next up on our list, and of course very young compared to some of the other players in this list here today. Number 3, Carlos Romero. Now this is one that kind of got a big score upgrade, or a big price upgrade over, you know, the time that I scouted him to now recording. When I did first initially scout him, I had him down at £4. He now currently sits at about £6, so he's had a slight increase in price. Not quite exploded just yet, but you can see why, because he had a good performance against Real Madrid despite them conceding 2, and that is the downside to this card, is that he is playing for Espanyol, who actually have started the season very well, but, you know, not exactly deemed as one of the best teams in their league. However, Carlos Romero, you know, similar to is scoring fantastic here on Sorare, and you can see even 100 bomb in his last 3, including an assist as well. I actually missed that one, but yeah, a great AA scorer, and of course if he gets a decisive on top of it, it could be curtains. And you guys know how much I love sort of La Liga defensive players, because I feel like that league in general is quite defensive, so had to include Romero because he ticked all the boxes for the video here today. If you guys want to help and support me create more videos like this one for you guys to enjoy, then I would really appreciate if you became a member using the link down below in the description. In at number 2, and this one does honestly make me very sad, because before this weekend, when I first started scouting him, he was £6, and this is exactly the reason I wanted to still include him, because this is the exact reason why I'm making this video here today, because I want you guys to hopefully catch these guys before they do explode. And you can see here on his sales graph, yeah, he was literally £6, and now he is currently going for double that, and that is because of course he had a great AA game here against Real Sociedad in a 3-1 win. Didn't get the decisive, but if he did, it would have probably, well, it would have been 100 bombs. So yeah, Abde, I've had him on my radar for a long time. Those of you guys that follow the under-23 Road to Glory, you know all about Abde and how much I love him. And Moroccans, to be honest, Moroccans are always great for that series because they always go under the radar. They're always undervalued. So yeah, Abde had to be included in the video because it kind of validates my video. You know, it makes me sort of seem like I know what I'm talking about if someone literally did explode whilst I was recording the video. And of course this is what we're hoping for all of the players that I recommend in the video here today. Hopefully, you know, you guys can pick them up for, you know, £5, £6 or whatever, and hopefully they double in price. Of course, Abde, I think he was injured for a bit. Came off the bench here, got an assist straight away, played. So yeah, maybe this one was one that we have missed, but still had to be included. And last but not least for the video here today, another guy that unfortunately has already exploded. Again, I scouted this guy before the game week, and he does score a 100 bomb on the game week that I obviously was watching him or scouting him. So that does mean that his price has almost tripled from when I initially saw him. So this guy has officially exploded. Jordan Boss for Feyenoord. And you can see when I was scouting him, he was about £6 before the game week started. And now he's like triple that. So unfortunately, Jordan Boss has tripled in price, and you've kind of missed the boat with him. However, I've still included him, and he's still on the watch list because, he could get injured one day, could come back down in value. But you guys can see just from the scores that he has been playing, yeah, he's obviously a great player to have on Sorare. So Jordan Boss rounds off the video here today. So there you guys have it. There is a top 10 players to watch out for on Sorare. Make sure you get them before they explode. If you have enjoyed the Sorare scouting video here today, I would really appreciate if you did leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and we'll catch you guys in a future video. Peace.